The water is cold and it is murky. And even in the darkness of the subway tunnel, you can sense that pollution, that ancient pollution of rage and malice and hatred that pools around your ankles and your waist and now up to your chest. This water is cold. And for undead, you shouldn't often feel that level of cold, but it sinks deep into your bones as you trudge and swim and move as fast as you can through this subway tunnel. As it continues filling with water off in the distance, Fitz, you can still just make out the aura or the light of whatever this Hudson entity is trailing off into the distance, carrying along Abel in a cocoon of water, having been kind of awakened from this spell that Hudson had put on him. And you guys move through this tunnel as it fills and fills and fills. You see the space above you with air is now less than the space below you that is filled with water. Minnie, for you, it is coming up to like near shoulder height. Mm-hmm. And for the rest of you, it's like maybe like mid-chest as you are swimming and moving through this space. It becomes immediately apparent to all of you that there is not a light in the distance that you can see of an exit. You see for a very, very, very long time, and the water is filling fast. This is not something that you can outrun. This is something that you have to act in some way. All around you, Kane, as you are out in front, you hear Fitz swimming behind you. You hear Savali swimming behind you. You hear Minnie trudging, just walking through the water behind you as you, with your superhuman strength, are swimming as fast as you can, and you are becoming very aware that you may not make it. And though you are protected by undeath from many forms of a final death, drowning is one of the banes that can kill Kane dead. Tell me, everybody, as this tunnel fills quickly, what do you do?
From my understanding of the New York map, do I know what's on the outside of this tunnel?
Go ahead, you know what? Go ahead and roll me a, what is it? Savage, allure, duplicity. Go ahead and roll me a, I'll call it an allure check. Just got to get a 9.
A 9 exactly.
You are pretty sure that you found yourself in a tunnel. Obviously.
We're in a tunnel, guys. We're in a tunnel.
Oh.
Yeah, razz me now.
Wow.
You are pretty sure you're in a tunnel, not just a tunnel that is connecting subway stops, but rather a tunnel that is underneath the East River, connecting Brooklyn to Manhattan, which is why there's such a long gap between stations.
Damn, I guess just in this case, underneath a river. Okay. I just pull my head up out of the water, take a deep breath, and go back under to keep swimming. And I think I start, instead of just paddling through the water, I start grabbing the rails of the train track and pulling myself through with my strength instead of just wading through the water.
You grab onto the tracks of the subway and begin to thrust yourself through using the propulsion, and you feel as you do one of those pushes, your hand flies over towards the third rail, and you feel a bit of a shock happen from that third rail. It's clearly not like fully on, otherwise the water would be electrocuted, but there is still some kind of like lingering charge or something in this rail that might be able to be something you can use. But you keep pushing through. Svelly, Fitz, and Minnie, what do you guys do?
Minnie is gonna look for every like flood prevention grate and is just gonna rip them from the ground, and is just gonna start, like, as she's walking down this subway tunnel, like taking every single barrier off its hinges.
Hell yeah. Go ahead and roll me a savagery check.
I will do that. That's a 9.
You begin ripping off the like storm drains and the flooding drains, and you are pulling them off, and it is helping, but it's slowing it down, but it's not doing anything major. You, in a moment of like exasperation, look up, and you see on the top of the tunnel there is a flood prevention drain, or there's something that looks like a drain, but it is pointed up, like it's on the ceiling. And you become immediately aware that like that wouldn't help, but it is there.
You said there's some electrical wiring in here, I'm assuming, like things connected to like the call boxes and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of electrical wire that seems to like, it isn't fully live because this tunnel started flooding, but it's like all the work is still there. Like the whole network is still there to be used if there was like electricity that could go into it.
If I could run some of those wires, like just kind of rip them from the boxes that they're in and just like stick them in the water, and then Minnie will look for some sort of source somewhere to turn on.
Yeah.
I feel like electrocuting Hudson it sounds like a fun idea.
You begin to like just rip wires out of anywhere you can. You're like grabbing light bulbs from the ceiling and like pulling things out. There are now like just dangling worms and lines. They're just dangling like wires everywhere. Every now and then giving off like small sparks and then going neutral as they're like being breakers are being tripped somewhere. You pull all these wires down into the rapidly rising water, hoping to create some kind of circuit if you can get a source. Fitz and Svali, what do you guys do?
I think as Fitz is just wading forward through the water, and it is rapidly getting higher and higher, and occasionally just lapping into his open mouth, and there is that familiar sensation of water just trickling down his throat, and again, it is a sensation that he is very, very familiar with, but as he looks back around, he sees two silhouettes, one very much in the water as he looks back and first sees Savali, and exasperated immediately looks past her and sees Minnie just tearing down electrics from the top and just immediately stopping and then looking after where Kane has disappeared and looking back just, "What are you doing?"
I'm coming after you. What do you mean, what am I doing? What are you doing?
No, take Savali and get out of here, Minnie, go.
Fitzroy, if you got a death wish, I'd unwish it. Real quick, okay? And she just like pulls one like big sparking wire like down from the ceiling into the water. I'm not kidding. I'm not going back.
I can't. Minnie, I can't lose you, okay? I can't lose you. I'll go after Kane. I've got this.
Fitzroy, Kane's like a million. He's gonna be fine. Don't... You chose to go after... I'm coming after you. And we're not leaving Savali here alone.
Where is Savali? What's Savali doing?
Savali is like up ahead. Savali's still pretty drunk and thinks this is just a good old part of the party. I'm assuming like Kane's really far up ahead. We can't really communicate with Kane. And just like a vampire question, we can't speak underwater?
No.
That's bullshit. We don't need our... All right, fine.
Unless you took that
rules.
power of undeath.
All right. Savali is going to be like, Kane, wait for me, pal. And to try and get Kane's attention, I'm going to spend a pulse to use my power of undeath to like shock the third rail.
Yeah.
Just let him know, hey, we're coming.
Hell yeah.
Hey, where are we going?
Do it.
You reach down to the third rail and you let go of some of your pulse, and push some electricity into this third rail. What would have been a like small jolt in a large thing of water like this, because Minnie has connected a number of circuits to this body of water, you let go a small pulse, and then you feel a much larger pulse than you intended get ripped from your body as the entirety of this subway line drains the electricity from your body.
Uh-oh.
Sparks fly wildly all around. Minnie, you are like grabbing onto things. All of you feel a large jolt hit you. I'm gonna have everyone's chaos go up by 2.
Oh boy.
As you get hit with a massive jolt, all of your eyes just start like bugging out. You're freaking out in the water, and Fitzroy, up ahead, you see this like bit of an entity of Hudson all of a sudden pulse and warp and begin to freak out as this massive jolt of electricity is hitting the entity itself in the water. And you see the water very quickly drops down to ankle level in the matter of like a few seconds as like the entirety of this water is pulled from the tunnel, and then just as fast it fills up completely. All of you are immediately submerged, and Minnie, you find yourself directly on top of the ceiling where that grate was, that was like a storm drain but going the wrong way. You hit against it, it immediately flies out, and all of you, like coming right out of a toilet, are sucked straight up towards parts unknown.
Woo! Vampire powers rule!
we literally riding a cartoon wave out of the subway.
You are essentially riding
great.
a like cartoon geyser out. You created a massive expulsion of water from Hudson that now has forced you through this opening, and you fly directly straight.
Not gonna lie, as we shoot up out of it, I'm looking for Savali and I want to give her a high five. That was pretty rad, Savali.
Yeah, let's
did
kill
that
someone
together.
now. Let's murder a person.
Oh my god, I gotta murder someone right now.
You guys explode through this grate. You see, as you fly through this grate, it seems to be like a ladder, like a rung ladder here or something, but you don't really have time to gauge any of it. You're just flying through and then are exploded up below the floor of the East River, fly through the river, and all of a sudden, all of you black out for a moment. And when you come to, you begin to blink. You're on some kind of hard surface. You're dripping dry, and as you are coming to, you kind of look around and you see that the water is running off you, but it is going up. Like all the drips are falling off you and going up. Minnie, your hair is falling up. Savali, your mohawk is falling up. The world feels right side up, but everything else tells you otherwise. And as you kind of blink into consciousness after this wild ride of a wave, you see the city skyline of Lower Manhattan, and it is upside down. You very quickly realize you are on the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Abel, where's Abel?
I don't think I saw him. Did he come out of the grate?
Who the fuck is Abel?
That's Kane's brother,
Kane, you got a brother?
Yes, Savali.
That's what this whole thing has been about, Savali.
Oh, don't you start. He's got to be around somewhere.
I immediately stand up, upside down. I'm looking around for any sign of Abel.
Go ahead, do me a favor, roll a savagery check just to see if you can maintain your composure and not like maybe lose some pulse in this moment.
As a 10.
Okay. You choke back a moment of vertigo and nausea as you reorient your mind a little bit. You find yourself on the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge. You're looking around. You see the East River below you in the morning light. And as you look around, you don't immediately see... You see the East River, but you can't tell if you can see Hudson. You can't immediately see your brother. But as you look on the underside of this bridge, you see hundreds, if not in the distance, maybe even thousands of undead. Kane, you might be aware of this place, maybe more so than others. I think maybe Fitz as well. Savali certainly wouldn't be. Minnie certainly wouldn't have come to a place like this, but the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge is one of the many hollows in the city, the places where vampires go, where undead go to wallow in misery. And there are many such places in New York. Never have you seen one this full.
Why did you all follow? You should have left. I told you all to leave.
I had to know if you wanted the top bunk or the bottom bunk.
Savali, you need to go. This is serious, Savali.
Where are we gonna go?
A home. Not here.
This and home. New York's not home. We don't have that luxury, Kane. We don't. We don't. I travelled here. Minnie travelled here. Savali, you. I mean, you've been fucking travelling longer than any of us. This isn't home for you. We find it where we can, right? So don't fucking run. It's not this lone wolf bullshit. It doesn't work. It never works. It's cyclical. You fucking wanker. Fuck.
Could have all died there.
Yeah, I know. And we didn't. And so, what? Now after all that, we're just gonna split up and cut and run on you? That's not happening. We gotta finish whatever this is, and we gotta fix it, and I don't know, go somewhere that's not raining upside down. I don't know.
Savali, as you look around this topsy-turvy, upside-down world of misery and sadness, you can smell the misery in this area. This is one of the most miserable places for undead in the city, and in this misery, throughout it, you see a familiar face. A face that is usually jovial and excited, that you've mocked many times in the past for not knowing what they are. Good Luck Freddy is sitting on the ground of the underside of this bridge, being comforted by a skeleton in a very professorial tweed jacket with elbow patches, who is just kind of petting his back and just being like,
"Wait, now it's all right. It's just, don't worry too much about it. It's not so bad. I've been a skeleton for many years, and it kind of works out for me. And there are good days and there are bad days."
And you see this skeleton is missing a number of bones, and also the ones that aren't missing seem to have been gnawed on, or many of them have been.
Do I know the skeleton, or it's just a rando skeleton?
Fitz for sure would be familiar with him. I think even you would be. If there is a single undead that is beloved across New York City, it is Old Man Knack. And Old Man Knack is just constantly walking around trying to find his missing bones that keep getting stolen by the dogs of New York, as he does his morning constitutional around Central Park every morning.
Oh, no.
He knows when off-leash hours are, but he still goes during that time because it's the best time in the park.
He loves dogs.
He loves dogs, and they love him, and that's the problem.
I go up to... I'm going to stand up in this upside-down world. It's disorienting, so I throw up a little bit. And then I go walk up to Good Luck Freddy, and I'm like, "Hey, Fred, what's wrong, pal? You okay?"
I'm like, "I'm dead."
Whoa, no. And I look back at Minnie, Kane, and Fitzroy, and I give them a thumbs up, "I got this."
Yeah.
And then I look back at Freddy, and I'm like, "Who said you're dead, pal?"
You see Freddy kind of opens up his Letterman jacket, and he just has a massive hole through his chest. It seems like he's been impaled by yet another javelin.
Oh,
and
no.
At this time, there's really no escaping the truth on this one.
Oh boy, that'll do it.
You see Old Man Knack just puts his whole arm through Freddy's chest, goes,
Yep, I mean, there's really no hiding this one. This one's going to stick
smack
around.
Old Man Knack's arm. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, he just died.
Sorry, I'm trying to lighten the mood for him. You know, this is a tough place to be the first time you've ever been here. You know what I mean? It's not the best. I try to comfort people when I can. You know.
Yeah, Freddy, listen. I also just found out I died today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived a pretty good life. Was at least over 2,000 years old at this point.
And then you died yesterday?
Yeah, I died yesterday because we just had my turning party today. And that traditionally happens right after you turn. So it makes sense that I died yesterday, like you.
From over Savali's shoulder, Minnie is giving like the international hand sign for like be cool. Like that's
So I think this means this is also your turning party, and we can have our turning party together. And Minnie, Kane, and Fitzroy just did a whole water slide thing for me, and now we're here, and I'm sure there's another big grand thing we're going to be doing together. And I got some of this alcoholic blood if you want to drink some of it. I don't know if that's your... Just drink some. I feel like you'll be fine. I
don't know if I'm there yet. You know, I'm still kind of processing what I have to do, and that feels like a big step. I don't know.
Yeah. No worries. I turn back to them and I'm like, he's a fucking loser. I'm like, yeah, pal.
You see, he just kind of looks around and goes, "But we can have a shared party."
Yeah, of course. No, of course. Come on. And I pick Freddy up. I'm like, guys, Freddy's joining it's his turning day party too.
yeah.
You pick him up, and you throw him off his feet, and he briefly loses this like anti-gravity field that you're in. He goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And you pull him back to the underside of the bridge.
Whoa there, Tiger. All right, I think we're gonna go find Kane's brother to. What are we doing to your brother, Kane?
Saving him.
Hell yeah, we gotta go save Kane's brother. That'll be fun. Let's go.
Kane, we don't fucking know what. Do you understand what has happened to him? Do you understand how fucking big Hudson is? Right.
I'll keep searching for him. I don't have it. We have eternity.
Oh, because we're alive forever.
Yeah.
All right.
Old Man Mac stands up, and bones kind of clattering. You probably stick away from downtown today. If you were trying to steer clear of Hudson, he's making an announcement today on City Hall steps. So maybe uptown or maybe even Queens if you want a good party spot, but not.
What announcement is he making? What's he trying to announce?
You know, he's got his candidates, and he's making his play for the city, as are all the other families and all the other factions, and it's all there was some kerfluffle at Margino and Bain, and I guess there's a new faction in town, and it kind of upped the stakes of everybody. And
I think he's gonna grab like a metal beam. One doesn't seem to be load bearing at the very least.
Off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, there's plenty of pieces that don't even need to be there.
I think they're going to tear a strip of metal off the side of the bridge.
With your superhuman strength, with your inhuman strength, you tear off this sliver of the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge. You hear a concerning creak above you for a moment, but everything kind of settles, and you feel okay.
I'm going to City Hall.
Well, actually, I was saying don't go to City Hall because Hudson is going to be there.
Minnie, Savali.
City Hall? City Hall?
Sorry, I
Everyone, turning parties at City Hall. Let's all go.
Oh, no. Actually, excuse me. So, no. I was actually saying, and you see people
You're
are
coming too, old man Mac.
People start pushing past him, and a bunch of the bones kind of fall off. Some of them fall up into the East River.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's my femur.
Oh no.
Old Man Knack jumps up and then loses this anti-gravity field and dives directly into the East River, chasing after his femur.
Oh, man.
I'm sure we'll find it.
Yeah, he always comes back.
As he dives, he goes, "Cowabunga!" You guys begin to walk across the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan towards City Hall, and you are trailed by a number of these undead who are at incredibly, in game terms, they are at very low pulse. They are down in the doldrums. They are more undead than alive. Probably the way that some of you even feel. And I don't think any of you know it yet, but in this area, you see a number of people are starting to set up tents and are starting to plan to stay in this hollow, in this place of misery and wallowing for extended periods of time. And whether or not you see it, this will become a thing that is echoed throughout New York in the coming weeks and in the coming months and even in the coming years. But you don't have time to think about New York or the future or what is happening. You just walk. You eventually have to climb around the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a little under the Brooklyn Bridge stairwell that kind of leads you topside, and there's a moment of inversion that is pretty trippy for all of you, but you make it topside and begin to walk towards City Hall, not far from the Brooklyn Bridge, and you see a large crowd of people are gathered on the steps. There is a podium and there is a large crowd of people, a lot of them with cameras flashing and things. These are the steps from The Godfather, big City Hall, massive wide buildings, words emblazoned on them like justice. And I think you feel how ironic some of these terms are in the situation.
As we're walking and just stepping through so much misery, I think there's a little bit where Minnie is trying to keep the energy up and trying to keep that energy Savali started about the parties at City Hall, and trying to rally people into feeling less misery. But when she realizes she can't do it, it isn't having an effect, and she just has to keep walking. She'll sort of pipe down and slip a hand very quietly into Fitzroy's.
I think Fitzroy has been quite quiet the entire walk, and even as your hand slips into his, I think you would realize that he hasn't actually looked at you the entire walk, and for as much as your hand rests in his, it is loose around your own. He seems preoccupied.
What's happening in there?
Did you mean what you said earlier? About, regretting all of this?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was alive. But what's better than this? I got you for all eternity, don't I?
Yeah, but are you? And Fitz stops, and as this crowd is moving around and an entire city falls to hell slowly, he just, for the first time, looks at you. Looks at Minnie. Are you happy?
At the moment, less so. I get worried, you start acting this way every once in a while, you running off to deal with Savali's shadow all on your own, you're diving into the water, and I can be happy. There are a lot of times to be happy. We got so many years ahead of us to be happy. But if you leave me here, I'm not gonna hang moping around singing Cole Porter to myself for the next 1,000 years. I'm coming after you. So if you don't want to lose me, don't fucking go.
When we first met on the boat over it, I was planning to jump off the railings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot, love. I've seen a lot. And I remember before I met you, when I was back in England, and they was conscription at the time, and for me, not a problem. I was like, war, bloodshed, love it. Mm-hmm. So I went out. I was like, fucking buffet from it. It was all just such a fucking waste. All of these metal beasts churning up the mud and choking on soil and blood and buried underneath bodies, and not very hard for someone like me to pretend to be dead. Get out.
Yeah.
But I felt so numb after all of that. I felt so numb, and I got on that boat, and I didn't fucking know what the new world was. I didn't know what New York was. I hardly knew what the old one was. But I just saw you, and you looked so I wanted to give you a second chance, and I don't know if that was fair of me or whether I was just fucking lonely. Maybe it's selfish of me to want you to be happy, because otherwise that means I fucked up.
She puts a hand on your chest. When you saw me there, what I was dead. I was hanging around, holding on, waiting for God to come. And he didn't. You did. I don't gotta be happy. I'm alive. That's better. You jump into the water, there's nothing after. This is the afterlife. You are my afterlife. So get it together, okay?
Yeah. Hey, let's go.
As you guys get out of the conversation, you look around and realize Savali has stopped the entire crowd, and everyone was just watching this entire interaction. And Savali's like, "Yeah, hell yeah, hook up on my turning day party, hell yeah."
Oh no, it's not like free
It's
drinks. Free drinks to the shallow grave. Everyone up there. Oh yeah. Ooh.
The whole crowd behind you, with the combination of that interaction and also the promise of free drinks, all of them are going to gain 1 pulse.
Yes! Fuck yeah, I needed that.
Wait, all of us or just?
I'll say anyone who watched can gain 1 pulse.
I wasn't watching. I kept going.
Yeah, Savali tried to hold Kane's hand, and Kane just swatted it away.
Kane was too busy holding a large piece of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
Just one of
those extra pieces the Brooklyn Bridge has.
One of those non-load bearing
Redundant
pieces.
The underside.
Classic bridge.
The extra bits. Like how they put buttons on clothes in case you lose one.
Exactly.
They just keep whole girders underneath just to grab them and pull them up. You walk through downtown from the Brooklyn Bridge to City Hall, not a very far walk, and you see the massive buildings and the massive steps, and on the middle of the steps of one of the courthouses, there is a podium set up and a large group of press and onlookers and people gathered around a small barrier that is being formed. Kane, from this distance, you see Abel standing there. And I think even from this distance, you see a level of rigidity and attention in his pose that lets you know he is under Hudson's control. Kane, I think you're leading this pack. Can you go ahead and roll a... I kind of want to do just like a perception check. So can you just roll 2d6, and you're not going to add anything to it?
It's a 12 d6s.
Whoa! With the 12, you see on your brother there is this slight moistness, this like glistening of the skin that from a distance and like with cameras on a person who wants to be seen can almost be seen as attractive. But you also see that same glistening from most, if not all, of the people in this crowd that are holding cameras and holding microphones and pens and pads of paper. You see this is a display that is for New York. Like this is, to be broadcast, but is a display put on by and for Hudson.
I think this entire time, as I was walking ahead, I was using this almost subconsciously tapping this beam of iron against the ground in the same timing and cadence of the now gone sound of the crushing of his brother's head that used to ring like a metronome, like a heartbeat in his head. And I think getting closer to this group of very clearly Hudson's thralls, I will stop and turn to the rest of the group. I don't know how Hudson does it, but there is a chance that we can get possessed. All of those people that are under his control right now. Are you sure you want to follow?
Yeah, just don't drink any free fucking water, I guess.
Yeah, we're not turning back this time. Not after all this.
Kane, I want you to look at me. Look me in the eye. It's my fucking turning day party. You are not allowed to go home until I say so. So wherever you go, my ass is following.
Kane stares at Savali for a moment, and I would like to take the GM roll for a second, and I would like Chinook to roll a perception check.
All right, there's mutiny on the podcast, but I'll allow it. Let me be very clear. I am allowing this. I am still in control.
Wait, Drac, can I roll? Can I roll with against the odds?
If you want to. If you think.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I rolled a 9.
I think as you say that, Kane turns away very quickly, and I think you notice very quickly that there's a smile in his face, and he tried to hide that from you after you said that. And he just starts walking. Immediately before anything can be said, he starts walking towards the crowd.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Did you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And Minnie is pulling a flask of blood from her garter and pours drinks because that was awesome, Savali.
Savali, off in the distance, you see one of the reporters has turned around and has a camera and snaps a picture the moment that Kane turns around with a small smile on. So somewhere out there is photographic proof that you may have to find later, but it may exist.
Just sort of looking between Savali and Kane and Minnie, and just almost beside himself, just shaking his head. And, Savali, I think you're a natural vampire.
Yeah, it's like I've been a vampire for like 2,000 years.
Yeah, no, it's almost like that. Minnie, you got any more of that blood?
Yeah, babe, I got you.
Thank you.
Midnight Muscadines is a cozy, dark tabletop role-playing game where light and shadow intertwine in a fractured world. Players take on the roles of marmoteers, brave adventurers who journey into the untamed wilderness to collect the elusive Midnight Muscadines, craft magical jams, and protect the fragile light of Nim. Through collaborative storytelling and resourceful gameplay, players weave tales of courage, community, and the pursuit of balance. Will you preserve the light, uncover the truths hidden in the shadows, or reshape the balance of the world forever? Midnight Muscadines is perfect for fans of Studio Ghibli and Sea of Stars, who seek to capture the magic of exploration and the heartfelt adventure in a world where small heroes make a big impact. Play Midnight Muscadines as a traditional GM'd game, GMless, or even solo. Midnight Muscadines is crowdfunding now on BackerKit. Join the campaign at pandeongames.com/muscadines.
I'm Quinns of tabletop role-playing game review show Quinn's Quest, and this is Play to Find Out. Play to Find Out is an actual play podcast that brings notorious old games from the 80s and 90s back to the table. Each season of Play to Find Out, I'm joined by Emily Johnson and Rob Morgan.
Good? Nervous?
Yeah.
You both looked at each other really concerned, like you think what's about to happen is going to be unpleasant. And frankly, I think that's rude.
And together, we explore the TTRPGs of ages gone by. Our goal, to separate the TTRPGs that deserve to be remembered from those that maybe don't. I don't know, Emily. It was the 80s.
Also,
a lot of people were on cocaine. We blow the dust from decrepit systems to learn how they work. Your 100 on the encounter table bursts out. Right, you've encountered a fog. Get ready. Don't laugh.
Does one get ready for a fog?
Don't laugh. Encounter their unique quirks.
I do finger guns to cover up how I wince.
A weird thing happens as you do finger guns.
Oh no.
And I'm hoping that the Quinn's Quest community will join us in exploring these games too. If you this up, cannot describe to you how much your adventure ends here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the best way to learn is to play to find out. Play to Find Out is available now on the Quinn's Quest Patreon, but the first episode of each series streams for free on the Quinn's Quest YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, you failed the Earthtech roll, and you made jokes while I was doing my exposition, so you don't get to hear any more.
Oh, no. Come on.
I was shook as...
Off in the distance, you hear the sound of some kind of amplification device turning on, some kind of microphone. As Kane, you hear your brother's voice spark to life, twinge just a little bit, almost imperceptibly, with Hudson. And you hear the beginnings of a speech well practiced by Hudson, maybe not through Abel's voice, but the normal platitudes of, "This city needs a change. We've been doing the same thing for so long. We've been living in an age of excess and sin, and that simply has to change. We don't want so many people running this city. We want to establish a clear leader, a clear person with a vision, a bigness behind it. There's only one person able to do that, and that is me." And you hear Hudson cheering for himself through these thralls in this crowd. From this distance, I think you can even see Abel trying as he begins to see you in the distance, trying to fight that thrall and being unable to in this moment.
Initially hearing this speech that Hudson was making, Kane continues to just very calmly walk towards the crowd. I think the moment he locks eyes with Abel and sees that struggle, that futile struggle. There's a feeling in his chest that he realizes he hasn't felt in a very, very long time. Similar to feelings he's had before, but there's something different. It's a rage, and he's felt that many times before, but this is something on behalf of someone, a brotherly rage that he hasn't felt in a long time, and he just begins plowing towards Abel. I think bodying anyone in their way, any of the reporters and the photographers, to get up to Abel on that podium.
Go ahead and roll me let's go ahead and use the combat mechanics in this. There are options of what you can do and how you can approach this. You can eat some fucker alive, a good old-fashioned brawl, cheap tricks. You could de-escalate the situation if you wanted to.
Which one makes me, if I succeed, I don't lose pulse?
Oh my good God.
Oh boy.
Because I'm hurting.
I think if you lose, you're always losing some pulse.
But if I win, is there any that I don't? Do I lose pulse?
You can still spend chaos on these rolls to
You can still
reroll
spend chaos, or you can
Thank
still
God.
gain chaos. No, there's none of them where you lose pulse if you win.
Okay. Well, I want to eat all of these motherfuckers alive and leave Abel.
Look, there's precedent.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll savagery. I would say you'd be rolling against the odds, but you have your superhuman strength or your inhuman strength, so let's call it a flat check.
And a beam from the Brooklyn Bridge, Brian.
Yeah. I would like to have the upper hand, please. So those have
Yeah.
a
Okay, you do have a beam of the Brooklyn Bridge. All right.
Get him, Drag.
I'm fine with the spirit of New York on my side.
The Brooklyn Bridge,
That's
specifically
right,
an East
baby.
River Bridge,
The spirit
which
of
is
New York, Drag
at
the
odds
future
with
home.
Hudson.
That is, thank God for the upper hand. That's a 10.
So if you succeed, you win the fight. You gain 3 plus D3 chaos. Any mortals you are fighting are dead on the ground. Any undead you are fighting are flatlined and unable to resist exposure to banes.
Okay. So I'm up to 15 chaos.
Truly absurd.
And I think what you see is Kane starts sprinting towards this group, and maybe for the first time ever, you see less of savagery and more of a practiced butchery, as they almost in sync, as if this beam of the Brooklyn Bridge is an extension of their body, uses it to propel themselves forward, cutting and slashing. You see them throw the beam through the crowd to make an opening to run towards Abel. Kane often jokes that they half jokes, I suppose, that they invented murder. It's honestly almost art to watch him do this right now, as effortlessly they cut through as many people as they can to get to their brother.
You swing this unnecessary piece of the Brooklyn Bridge through various reporters and cameramen and lighting operators and people in this crowd, all thralls of Hudson. And each time there is an explosion of water as the water is expelled from these people and tries to attack you itself. And you are slashing these things out of the way, attacking both the physical body and this presence of Hudson. And as you are slashing through back and forth and plowing through these entities between you and your brother, you begin to have a realization. You slash and you cut, and all of the people in front of you fall in the way that you have always been able to make them fall. You are an artist in this way, whether you intended to be or not, you are. You feel Hudson weakening as each of these thralls begins to fall and perish, some of his influence falling away. You recognize there are still likely many, many more throughout the city, but in this area, that influence is weakening. When you have the realization, you cut through the last of these thralls between you and your brother, and you think, with all the rage in you, that you want to finish Hudson. But Hudson is water and cannot be drowned. Hudson is water and has no skin to break with a pig bone. Hudson is water and has no shadow to burn.
You piece of shit.
You hold this beam of the Brooklyn Bridge mighty in your hands, and you feel all that strength with nowhere to go. You plow through everything in front of you, and all that is left in front of you is your brother, and Hudson just lets out a low.
Oh, fun. So much fun. Didn't have to be this way.
And it still doesn't. Hudson, let him go.
Why? You didn't want him after all. I do.
What's between my brother and I is between my brother and I. I said, let him go, or I'll make you regret it.
No. From what I remember, you say, I'm not my brother's keeper. Well, I'll happily keep your brother. He's got a good face after all.
And you see Abel's hand just goes up and like moves his own face around it as if to show off himself.
Kane tenses. The instinct of wanting to swing at someone touching their brother, kicking in, but they can't because they'll be attacking their brother. They take a step back. Hudson, I'm warning you. Let him go. Or we'll kill you.
I've dreamed of that for some time. Doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, does it? No, I think I'll play with this city a little more. I've done it before. Other rivers, other lakes, an ocean once. No, I like the river. All these other factions having their little trifling fun. The stock market. The undead stock market. The fucking archivists just wanting to get rid of jazz music. What the fuck are they doing? No. I think I'll flood this city with me. Just run up and down all of its cracks and just really get in there. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Kane takes a step forward, closing the gap bit by bit between him and Abel. I'm lucky enough to have gotten the forgiveness of my brother. But I've been punishing myself and been punished for what I did for a long time. That sound that was in my head, it wasn't just regret. I know it was divine punishment. I know it was placed there by God. And the only way I could quieten it even for a moment was to kill. What kind of punishment was that? What does that do to a person? It makes a monster. I'm a God-made monster. And it'll do you well to remember that I've never failed a kill.
Yeah, you hear that? He's a god.
What is this one doing? What is this person?
I'm Savali, and it's my turning day. Also, it's Freddy's turning day. He's also here, and he's part of it too, right, Freddy? Freddy?
I think I'll skip this part. This
No.
This
He's gonna kick your ass.
This is a big
He's
step
gonna
for
help
me.
kick your ass.
No. This is the maybe I kind of wanted to walk into it. I didn't want to go running
No, Freddy,
into it.
it's okay. You can't get hurt. It's your turning day. It's not allowed.
I don't know. Okay, maybe. I'm a hard maybe. Put me on the bench in case you need me.
Hudson just kind of, you see your brother and somehow Hudson inside both roll their eyes.
You see in this moment as Hudson is kind of growing in anger and rage, and you begin to see off in the distance, you can see little flecks of the East River and the Hudson. There are waves on both of these bodies of water that seem very unnatural. And you see almost like a second version of Abel is almost like pulsing up. Like it seems like Abel is getting bigger, but it's just that there is like water filling up his suit and beginning to like expunge out of it. And you see this person kind of just like growing and getting bigger.
Are the undead that like kind of that we've walked through, are they still kind of behind us?
They're still behind you.
Yeah?
They are all at one pulse.
They're all at one pulse. I don't know if this is feasible or will work, but I still think there's some value in trying to rile this crowd up into a party. And I know that everybody is low, but I just want everybody to remember, like, just how much that speech was bullshit, and exactly how much fun it is to be undead. And I think Minnie's just going to go out and into that crowd of undead and start partying, and hope that they follow suit.
Go ahead and roll me an allure check.
I will do so. Thank you.
Is it okay if he does so at the upper hand? Because I think as Minnie begins to enter the crowd and whatever it is you were doing, Fitzroy is following.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why don't you roll with the upper hand?
Get a room.
That's an 11.
An 11. You enter this crowd of miserable undead. You can smell it on them. There is no joy in this group to be had. There's no joy in this part of the city right now. As off in the distance, you can hear the opening bells of the stock market opening, and immediately the floor begins to riot and panic as the stocks begin to go down and down again. The entire city smells of misery, and this place more so than anywhere. What do you do to liven up this crowd of poor, miserable souls?
I mean, I'd probably take my tits out. I think I'm also like just looking for anybody who's got blood, and I'm just like pouring it down people's throats. I'm trying to get people to play the raunchiest music that we can. I'm gonna like just start matchmaking people and coaxing them into
outside orgy.
Outside orgy. I'm just being the absolute worst influence I can possibly be.
9:02 a.m. on a Monday morning, directly in front of City Hall. The blood certainly helps. Tits coming out even more so, and you start throwing people together, covering them in blood, which they lap up. All of these undead begin to slowly pull a little bit more life into them. With this, like, you know, the scene in front of them is devolving into this very small encounter, whereas it once was big, and then Kane quickly took care of that. There is a feeling of, there's not necessarily a feeling of celebration, but there is a feeling of one more for the road.
Yeah, that feels right.
And you see a couple of people are pulling out their own flasks of blood and are passing it around, and there's this whole just like fun hang that is happening. It's not, there's not like necessarily like music that's really getting struck up. It's just like, this is a good fucking hang right here on the steps of City Hall. People just sitting and chatting and trading stories and trying to make each other feel better, trying so hard not to be sad. Minnie, as you do this by your side through it all, holding your hand whenever he can, is Fitzroy.
And I think Fitz just marvels, I think. Minnie is in her element, and as he sees these husks, these corpses, these people who have been dead and who have not known joy for such a long time, it is infectious. It is like a virus, and it spreads like wildfire. And Fitz helps where he can. I mean, he doesn't need it, but he tries, and he just moves around these. Is it a smile? Here, there, a glint in the eye, and looking around, he looks specifically for Savali. And what is it? What is Savali doing right now?
Savali is has like 3 people pouring shots of blood down their mouth, and then sees Fitzroy looking at her, and she's like 2 thumbs up, and then like is I guess like if they're like is like double drunk at this point, but then goes to looks around and goes, so we're the water is the bad guy, right, guys? This is what's controlling Kane's brother, right?
Yeah, water's bad.
Water is
objectively bad in this scenario.
Hear me out. If the water's bad and the water's undead like us, because I'm part of it now, what if we dumped a bunch of oil into the water to drown the water?
So you were like a scientist, right?
Yeah, I am an electrician for the Port Authority. I know science.
Right.
That's going to do a real number on the blood supply around here, but I feel like it's already gone to shit, so...
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
And we could just take this party somewhere else.
Kane, what do you think?
You see Hudson off in the distance has like paused and looks at us and goes,
What the fuck is this person talking about? What is she talking about?
I think
I'm not the bad guy.
Staring at Hudson, doesn't even like turn to look at Savali. I think purely because they're not looking at Savali, they do just very openly smile and kind of grip the metal beam a bit tighter and just say, Abel, relax. Savali, I'm going to need your help, and I would like to charge forward and skewer Abel with the metal beam and pin him down.
Oh my god.
Go ahead and roll a savagery check. I'll say with the upper hands.
Dang.
You've got a beam of New York City.
9 exactly.
You rush forward, and from behind you, you hear a small cry of fear as Good Luck Freddy goes, "Oh no, not another one!" You stab directly through your brother's gut, pinning him to the steps of City Hall.
And I want to hold him there, and I'm going to keep yelling, Savali, I said I need your help.
What do you need? What do you need? I'm here.
Shock him. As the Hudson is conductive, and so is this beam of metal. I want to shock them out of Abel. Or have Savali do that.
Savali's gonna like rub her hands together like a defibrillator, and then go, okay, here it is, vampire.
You throw your hands forward onto this beam, and a pulse of electricity flies through it, hits directly into Abel, and begins to shoot throughout Abel's body as you see, almost like venom symbiote, you see this water begin to spasm and move and jolt out of this body in various ways. You can almost see the waves of electricity in this water as it begins to be expelled from this body. Hudson the entire time just going, and you see the water around you is beginning to rise as all of a sudden you notice a very thin layer of water on the ground. throughout Lower Manhattan as this water elemental, this water spirit is getting pulled and ravaged by this electricity until finally you see the water almost explodes into a cloud and rains down onto the steps of City Hall. Kane, you see your brother's eyes go clear, looks at you, looks down at the beam, looks back at you.
You couldn't have just done a rock again? Rock would have been way easier. Oh.
You're undead. It's fine. Trust me, you're going to go through much worse.
You see Good Luck Freddy from behind. It's going to be okay, man.
Happy turning day.
You pull this girder out from his guts and you see him freed of this influence for the moment. And as you pull this girder out and pull him up, you feel that moment of connection, that moment that you felt in the subway that was interrupted by Hudson. You feel a heat in your chest. A small little bit of fire that you haven't felt for some time. You look at your brother, you guys maintain this moment. There is the world kind of goes black around you. There's not that same divine aura, but you recognize your brother in front of you, and you feel yourself, for the first time, maybe ever, form a bond.
Whoa. Holy shit.
What you will do with that, I don't know, but it's there.
Kane just pulls Abel into a hug and then yells out to the somber party, "Does anyone have a flask of blood? Please."
Savali pulls out her alcohol flask, blood flask.
Hell yeah. Good.
Pass it over. Abel quickly shoots it down. You see some of it kind of comes out of the gut, unfortunately, but you see a bit of it start to stitch back together as a bit of life comes back to his face. Kane, what are you feeling in this moment as you feel this connection, the severance that you have felt since God cursed you of not being able to connect with someone else? That curse, at least for the moment, is lifted.
I think Kane can't even really describe the emotion he's feeling because he hasn't felt it in so long. It's almost forgotten. It's like a part of his brain that hasn't been used, part of his body that hasn't been, muscles that hasn't been flexed in a very, very long time. But I think it's a deep sense of relief and genuine joy as he holds his brother in this moment. And then there's a very quickly, not overcome, but met with a feeling of, and he hates the word, he hated the word, and he still does, but a little less so, and it makes sense to call it this, but he feels a sense of righteous anger in this moment as he looks around at the raining of the Hudson water, almost as if hoping for something of the Hudson to strike right now.
You feel that righteous anger and you feel that need for revenge, vengeance, bloodlust, something. You feel that initial small cloud burst as this like pool of water that was inside your brother explodes, and above you see the sky is beginning to darken as rain clouds are beginning to form over the Isle of Manhattan, and it is slowly, you're beginning to feel the first few drips of a storm. And very quickly, those drips turn to a drizzle, turn to a rain, turn to a downpour. And all around you still see that water is gurgling and rioting. And much quicker than you would have thought possible, that water that was there for a brief moment on all the streets of Lower Manhattan returns And I think you are very aware that this is no longer a safe place. Rather than doing a small thing, Hudson is doing a big thing.
I help Abel up onto his feet and say, we need to go now. Don't know how we're going to deal with Hudson, but I think if we stay any longer, we might not be able to do anything at all.
Yeah, this party's kicked anyway.
Fitzroy has gone somewhere, and I'm happy for him to be gone for a little bit, but he's rushed off somewhere.
Minnie, you look around and through the party as people begin to move uptown where there's slightly higher ground. You don't see Fitzroy.
Yeah, Minnie says what she says. Yeah, this party's kicked anyway. Let's get out of here. Fitzroy, let's go. Sorry, wait, anybody seen Fitzroy?
No, I thought it was with you.
I was using my vampire powers. I thought he was with you.
Yeah, he was with me, like a second ago.
Fitzroy? It's me.
Well, we're gonna leave in like a minute. Just, I gotta find him first, and then we can get out of here. You guys can all go, and I'll catch up.
Kane will kind of help Abel down the city stairs, and I think we'll turn to Freddie and go, can you get Abel somewhere safe, please?
Oh, yeah, I've dealt with this before. All right, here you go, buddy. You're gonna hold it right there. Yep. Okay. And we're gonna need to get you a different coat to cover that. People are gonna ask questions, and just gonna let you know, in case you didn't know, you're dead. You're dead, and that's just gonna be a thing you're gonna have to deal with. Okay, this might be worse than Hudson. Okay. And they walk uptown, but Kane, as your brother leaves, you can still feel that tether to something else in this world that you have not felt for some time, and you know that link still remains. You guys look around and you don't see Fitz, but the water here is rising. A flash flood in this area is coming, and you begin to slowly at least move up the steps or slightly to higher ground as we flash over to Fitzroy.
As he looked on, in wonderment at Minnie and at joy that she engenders in everyone around her, suddenly the seed of an idea began to spring up inside of Fitz's head. And he started looking around. Rats are not an uncommon sight in New York. And seeing one in a nearby gutter, I think moving away from the crowd, Fitz is going to spend one pulse to use his power of undeath, Carnival's Touch. And he just asks the rat to take him to a friend. He follows the rat for some time and eventually comes to a rather lopsided and slightly squirmy trench coat within which there are numerous squeaks and gnawing sounds and tails. And Fitz is going to ask if he can borrow something. They go way back, and the rat king agrees, and Fitz takes this item. And he would like to take a stroll all the way down to the Hudson River.
You find the Rat King hanging out in a back alley, just looking for more rats. You come up to him and he's like,
Classic Rat King.
Classic Rat King. Always looking for more rats. Come up to him like, hey, buddy, don't put no more hats on me, okay? No more hats. I'm not fucking with hats anymore.
Funny you should say that. I was wondering if you'd still had Fred about.
Nah, jeez, alright. And he pulls out from his trench coat a squirming fedora, who is just kind of like, hey, fuck you, man, fuck you. Yeah, how long is it gonna get this guy off?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Hey, Fred, they're all a little bit wet, but I've got a cigarette.
You see, just Fred goes, "Oh, Fitzy, baby, thank you." And you just kind of put a cigarette beneath the hat, and it disappears, and you just hear as smoke just comes out from this thing in large billows. This guy's smoking puffs a second.
If I put you on my head, you promise not to take control of me, right? Just nice leisurely stroll, yeah?
You put another one of these under me, and that'll do me for at least 15 minutes. So you keep feeding me, I won't feed on you. You know what I mean?
Well, as it happens, I think I've got a particularly big hedge that you can sit on.
Oh,
quite wet.
Wet? I don't love wet, but I do love big. I like feeling like a little small hat. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Little fish, big pond.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Fred. Let's go.
You put on Fred. You have an uncomfortable experience of having a hat that is vaguely parasitic into your mind, also smoking on top of your head. There's a lot of sensation. You're not sure if you're being burned or not, or if that's just what wearing Fedora Fred feels like. You're going to have to reckon with that at some point. Something's happening here. Fitz, you walk west, and you don't have to walk very far. You don't have to walk all the way across the Isle of Manhattan. The river comes to meet you as this flash flood is slowly rising in the city. You get to about 5th Avenue before it becomes very difficult to walk without moving further north. And you see in front of you a mass of water rises up. And you hear a familiar voice. You don't see a face or a figure. It's just a amalgamation of gurgling, dirty Hudson water.
You come to finally give yourself to me. I lost a few thralls, so I need a few more.
Well, you ruined a perfectly good jacket, so I came to recommend you would ask for a new one.
You know, all you had to do, all you ever had to do, was stay a little longer. And all your pain would have been gone.
Yeah. Except, I don't really like water all that much, tell you the truth. Spent so long, considering what it would be like. Actually, pulling the proverbial trigger, but, yeah, there are some things that, believe it or not, are worth living for. So, I stuck around. Look, whatever you're gonna fucking do, just fucking do it.
Go ahead and roll me a duplicity check, and I'm gonna say you can roll it with the upper hand.
Okay.
I want to be very clear. You're rolling with the upper hand because you have a very fine fedora on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Fred's great. Okay.
I would also be very easily antagonized by someone wearing a fedora, so I get it.
That is a 10.
You see the trash and the detritus and the waste swirling around in this mound of water that is standing in front of you grow and grow in front of you, and you hear a voice.
Gladly.
And a spout of water from this mound flies up into the air, swivels around, and then comes directly down into your gullet. And you feel yourself beginning to get filled and filled with water. You feel yourself full to bursting, and then there is a part of you that maybe even feels yourself burst in this moment as Hudson completely envelops you. And then you hear a small voice in your head.
Oh, baby. This is what I'm talking about.
And Fedora Fred slides down over your head and begins to cover your face. You have this brief moment of connection with Fred as Fred is simultaneously controlling both you and Hudson inside of you. Do you want Fred to try to pull only Hudson down, or do you want to go down with him?
There are only 3 things that can kill a vampire. One is pig bone. The other is stealing a shadow and setting it on fire. And the other is drowning. But 3 things have kept Fitzroy alive during his time in New York. And that is 2,000-year-old idiot who doesn't realize that she's a vampire. It is one of the scariest individuals that he has ever met. And it is the love of his life. And for a moment, Fitzroy feels the pull. He feels the dragging. He feels the soil, the water, the choking. But he wants to live.
Oh my god.
You feel this hat slide down over your head and cover your face and mouth, and then all of a sudden this water is expelled from you as quick as it entered. Again, this is a feeling you're going to have to reckon with at some point. This is incredibly unpleasant, but that figure of standing water appears again in front of you, slowly forming more clear limbs and fingers and a suit to match the fedora, all made entirely of water, swirling around with Hudson River trash. And a mouth forms, and you hear the voice of Fedora Fred.
Oh, buddy, this is, listen, you're a little too fucked up for me, and this is way better. So I'm going to hang over here if you don't mind.
Just, maybe, do your best to keep out of the actual river itself. It's be nice to have it clean for a little while at least.
Oh, this is nice. This I could use that. And you just see him like testing out his Hudson powers as you see a brief moment of like a second mouth opens up on the body and just goes.
You can't treat me. Shut up, buddy. Shut up. Okay, here you go. Tamp it down. Tamp it down. Okay. There you go. You and I are gonna be best friends, my guy.
Tamp it down.
Wait, let him. Wait, just give him one more word. I want to hear what he has to say.
Hey, all right, your funeral.
And he just like pulls up his water body, and another mouth comes out and goes.
You can't do this to me.
Fitz spits into him. All right, cheers. All right.
Oh my god!
You see, Fedora Fred goes. Hey, buddy, I don't know you like that.
Oh, sorry, my bad, Fred. Bricks are on me. Next time you're in, okay?
Hey, buddy, I'll see you later. And he flushes down, heading uptown towards parts unknown for this new entity of undeath as the rain very quickly parts and disintegrates, and the floodwaters slowly retreat back into the east and the Hudson River. Detritus and trash floating around this city. It is the dirtiest it's been for some time, and it feels like it's only going to get worse, but at least not from this.
And none of us saw that, right?
None of you. No, you're all back at City Hall.
As the water attracts, I look at Kane and Minnie and I go, I did it! He's scared of me!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Good work, Zawali.
Yeah.
Minnie is like just eyes on every horizon, trying to find sign of Fitzroy? Because something dramatic just happened.
I think seeing the panic, I would like, just one last time, I'm going to use a pulse, and you hear the very familiar cracking and stretching and tearing of clothing and cracking a bone as Kane becomes a giant wolf and kind of picks you up by the cuff of your collar and puts you on their back and is going to try and find Fitzroy, practically sniff Fitzroy out.
All right. Cute. Gives you a scritch.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just walk. Yeah, go ahead. That's cool.
I just growl. I growl at Savali and keep walking.
What, is there not room up here for her? I feel like there's plenty of room.
I want to make it clear. There's room for like 5 people on Kane's back. He just chose to pick the minion.
Savali, as you see them run off, you look down at your feet, and floating past is the camera that took the picture of Kane smiling at you.
Oh, I picked that shit up.
And Kane, in your wolf form, or even in your humanoid form, and I think Minnie, you even can smell this, on the wind, there is so much misery in this city. Behind you, in front of you, all around you, undead and the living, all feeling the pull of various machinations of these factions and just of circumstance. But there is a wisp, a particularly vibrant wisp of something else you can smell. The undead can smell misery, but at the same time, they can also smell joy. And in this moment, at this time, in this place, maybe for the first time in some time, the most joyful thing in New York is Fitzroy. And you find him walking south down 6th Avenue.
Minnie's gonna hop her ass off that dog and run full speed up to him, jumping hug.
Oh. Hey, what's going on? What's up? What's up, love?
What's the idea of running off like that again? After that whole big talk we had?
Well, you know me, I'm not good with parties, and I didn't want to tread on your toes, you know?
Is you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I just needed some fresh air. So that's all. How are you not doing? What happened with Hudson and Abel and that lot?
Oh, strangest thing, all the water just went up and disappeared. You know anything about that?
Fucked if I know. I was somewhere dry.
Yeah.
Fitz, why don't you just roll a duplicity check for me?
Oh, look at you.
Can you do it like against the odds? Because I'm a wolf and I can smell the Hudson on you.
I'll say the Hudson is all around, but the Hudson was also inside you, so I will let you roll with just against the odds.
That's 4.
Ooh.
Mm.
You just hear a bark come from Kane in their wolf form.
All right. Maybe in 10 years you'll tell me this one, huh?
At least for now, we all look wet, so how about some dry martinis?
That's what I'm talking about.
You guys walk north towards the shallow grave, off into the quickly rising sun on this Monday morning. And we are going to flash to you guys at the bar. And as this story kind of comes to a close, I want to hear an epilogue from each of you. But before I do, I want to tell you what happens in the coming days. Fitz, you defeated Hudson. You quelled this faction. Kane, you destroyed an entire faction on your own and badly damaged Hudson. But there are other machinations at work in this city. Many, many machinations in this city. The stock market continues to fall over the coming days, and that stench of misery just gets worse and worse. Without a candidate to compete against them, the folks at Tammany Hall bring Boss Tweed back as a political candidate, and we elect another terrible, terrible mayor to lead us through a terrible, terrible time. All of the machinations of the families begin to come together in the coming days. And the city gets worse quickly. There's time to celebrate, but not much. Why don't y'all tell me what you do in the coming days as all of these events begin to unfold?
I think there is a reunion that Fred is probably awkwardly standing at as I find Abel again and give him the tightest hug, and just almost every other word that leaves Kane's mouth is sorry. But over the next few days, he almost catches Abel up. Abel tells him what he's been through, what happened between millennia ago and now. And I think as he's speaking, he feels this warmth, this connection between him and Abel, a feeling that he hasn't felt in a very long time, grow stronger. And as it does, the flower, the white myrtle, now black, that grew out of his left eye, that kind of, this mark of Cain, essentially, this was the mark that was given to him, begins to wilt and die and fall out as he feels, for the first time in a long time maybe, that this curse is beginning to lift. His eye never recovers. I think he continues to wear an eye patch, but that distinct mark of his transgressions and the punishment that was quickly placed on him afterwards is gone. And he tells the group, he tells Minnie and Savali and Fitzroy that he doesn't want to stay in New York. That Fitzroy was right, we don't have a home, it's wherever we make it. And right now, and quite honestly, for a very long time, this entire time, New York never felt like home for him. So he's going to go back to wandering with Abel. And I think Cain was definitely going to be like, this is going to be like a lone wolf with their brother kind of leaving. But Abel, when Cain walks away, Abel probably like invites the others to be like, if you want to come. He's not going to say it, but if you want to come, you can come. But yeah, Cain has no intention of staying, but he does hope to leave and find somewhere else with his brother.
You wonder. You've been around for a very long time. You've seen there are some things that change and there are some things that do not. And I think maybe for the first time, you are beginning to wonder if God's wrath is one of those things. And I think there's a little bit of hope that it might just be. After all, you saw Old Testament and you saw New Testament. There was some changes that happened. Maybe you can be one of them. But if nothing else, you feel that heat in your chest that feels like some form of penance has been paid. And with every bit of connection, every bit of I'm sorry, regardless of whether or not your brother wants to hear it, whether or not he's tired of hearing all of it, you feel that bond, an additional coil of rope spin around it, strengthening and tightening. And you make plans to leave the city. Savali, what do you do in the coming days?
I think after Cain makes that declaration, Savali... Actually, before I start, Cain, when do you think Savali and Cain met? Was it in New York or was it...
I think it was in New York.
Okay.
I think the first person I met was Fitzroy, and then we met everyone in New York.
So Savali goes, wait, let me get my, I have to get my art stuff, and like has to like run back to the apartment and is like feverishly packing and then like realizes like, oh, like they still have like the camera that has Kane's smile on, and like takes out the film and goes, I can't lose this, and puts the camera away and like pulls like a chest, like a lockbox that's like a little like pretty large for a lockbox, but like under her bed. And like one of her favorite things about rooming with Kane is that Kane never really cared to look at what Savali was ever doing or like care about the lockbox at all. So she opens it up and like takes out a bunch of like old like photographs and like paintings and stuff that like is like from her past, and like she starts to like look through them, and you see just like different groups of like undead and vampires all together, kind of similar to us, of like clearly like all friends. And you like see like through like the city Savali's lived in, like Rome and Constantinople and the other ones. You know,
that's how they're labeled by Savali. It's Rome, Constantinople, and then all of them are the other ones.
And like some of them are like paintings for when like they didn't have like photographs, and like it starts like getting like developed into like actual photos at a certain point. And like under the last one, like, and you see as you see like the undead around Savali and these paintings, there are like dates, like years tagged under like over people's like names. And then the picture before she puts in the film roll, she looks at like the last picture, and there's like a banner of like a bunch of people kind of like throwing her a surprise party. And it's not you guys, it's a group of other vampires, and the banner says Savali's turning day.
No, stop.
Wow.
Of course.
This really feels like the end of Raiders when they put the Ark of the Covenant in the thing, and then there's just a million boxes.
And she like kisses the roll of film and puts it in the box and goes, this time it's gonna last. And puts it in the trunk, locks it, and grabs her things and heads to go with Kane wherever he's headed.
You pack up your things, throw the camera and art supplies in your bag and the pictures that you want to take.
And my script for Burr, the Fuck Hamilton story.
You look for your script for Burr, the Fuck Hamilton story, and it's not there. And you realize like, oh shit, I lent it to George. And as you leave, you see George is out front going, my darling, you are phenomenal. I've read your script 20, 30 times since we've last seen each other. I made some notes, all of them about staging and things and who I think would be best for the parts. I think I've got so many ideas. We're going to make you a star. You see this manuscript has been like lovingly held, like it's dog-eared, but like has been tried to maintain. There's so much wear and so much love. There's literal like kiss, like lipstick marks all over it. And is just like looking at it, and all the notes on here are like very lovingly like handwritten in like this calligraphy script, naming like amazing actors of stage and screen who they think would be the best parts, and like all these notes for different things, like this is a section we can maybe cut, make it into a sequel, and who knows, this thing could go to the moon, baby.
I grabbed the script out of George's hands and I'm like, sorry George, I gotta go. I think Kane and the group are going to Calgary or something. We're gonna go there. That's the new Homa Theater, baby. Calgary.
I'll come with you. You see he already has a bag ready to go.
We're off.
He runs along behind you. As you run back to meet up with everyone at the shallow grave, you've noticed over the past couple of days and over the past couple of weeks that the attendance has gone down in this place. What started as a quiet night became a quiet week, became a quiet month. And now Scarlet is basically singing to an empty room, making plans to leave as well. Minnie.
Yeah.
What do you do in the coming weeks?
Well, when Kane and Savali decide they want to go, we gotta throw a party. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit of a sad one. And then I think Minnie tells Fitzroy, I know the city's dying,
But can we please stay until it's really, really dead? Like, let's just really ring her out.
You want to close the party out?
Yeah. I mean, this is like the biggest one I've ever been to.
Stay as long as you want, love.
You're staying with me, though. I mean us.
Well, while we're a little low on clientele, wouldn't be a very good manager if I just up and left now, would I?
Yeah, you'd be the worst.
Well, there aren't many places for people like us, are there?
No, but I'm sure we'll find some other place where all the freaks are. You know, after this one's done.
Wherever you want to go.
As they finish this conversation, like everyone that's left in the city was just in a circle around them, like the last conversation they had. And Savali looks at Kane and goes, "Would hate to be a third wheel with these two, huh?"
Why did you grab me to watch this? This is very personal.
And I hop behind the bar and I start pouring myself drinks with zero regard for measurements.
That party that you guys have lasts for days. The undead in the city get word that there is kind of a going away, a last hurrah. We're closing down the bar. And a lot of those undead that you met on the other side of the Brooklyn Bridge make their way to the shallow grave for one last drink. And you guys party for as long as you can. There's a joke that kind of gets circulated around the undead in this area that the shallow grave is the newest and strongest of the factions. You guys have no aims at the city, but this is the place that has the most joy, even though it's tinged with the sadness of a coming depression. Fitz, what do you do as the party well and truly ends?
The door closes, and everything is chaos. It's almost as chaotic as it is upside. Glasses are shattered, surfaces are sticky, and through a mixture of alcohol and many, many, many other fluids. And as Fitz says goodbye to the regulars, even Don Astrazio, the two of them kind of realizing she's never getting that accountant. And to Savali, just until we meet again.
Until we meet again.
I know I'm not one to talk, but make sure that Kane, isn't a miserable git all the time.
Yeah.
Right outside the door, you hear Kane say, "What the fuck did you call my brother?"
Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, safe travels, all right?
Yeah, and if you two ever want to leave New York, I think we're going to Calgary.
Fine.
But Fitz just nods at the both of them, and a very genuine smile as the door closes. And he turns around and he sees Minnie. And there are words he has wanted to say since he first saw her. And he's Fitz, and she is Minnie. And as he looks at her, his eyes just look across to the now empty stage. Scarlet is gone, and only the instruments remain. And one of these is a piano. And Fitz remembers before the war. sitting, playing parlor tunes with the soldiers, and he just steps up onto the stage and just kind of awkwardly brushing some of the glass off the ivories, just sits down and just cracking his knuckles, and he just places the hands down very delicately on these white and black keys. And Spotlight, still on the stage, just slowly begins to sing as his eyes gaze up towards Minnie.
Minnie, as you're singing, will come up into the spotlight behind you, wrap an arm, one around you, one like up into Fitzroy's hair. And when he finishes, she says, I knew it. And she'll kiss you.
Fuck off. Jeez. Oh my God. That was great.
Christ.
Fuck you, Ed. God damn.
Get off the stage.
Holy shit.
Can I say, before you did that wonderful, amazing, outstanding song, as you were starting to describe things, I did have like the most absurd image of Fitzroy turning off the lights of the bar and all of the lights in New York City going out. Yours is better. Yours is way, way better.
Oh my God.
Way better.
Well done.
I mean, it could be both.
Could be both. Could be both.
As the lights in this place flicker and go out due to lack of bill payment as you finally close down this place. True to his word, Fitz lets you close down this bar. The lights go out. The lights in the city even dim. As a truth is made clear to you, as it is in this game, that falling in love is overpowered. You find that connection, all of you finding connections to each other, to a brother, to a group of friends. This city is gone. Maybe not forever, but for a very long time. And within it, you found a kernel of happiness. It's time to move on. In one way or another. Because to paint the town red is to live in the moment. But only for a moment. That moment for New York has come, and it has now truly gone. The city is polluted and warring, broke, corrupt, and just no fun anymore. There's no party quite like a funeral, but when the body is in the ground and the celebrants have nothing left to do but go their own way, they carry with them their sadness and their grief.
The undead are not among the living, but it is possible. It is possible. They feel life more acutely in its absence. You go on a train towards the next city to paint the town red.
Is it
Oh
cheesy to
God.
clap? That was a
Oh, man.
solid ending. That was
Wow.
So good.
Oh,
Hell
God.
That's a
That was so
Ryan
good.
ending.
Holy fuck.
And that is all for this season of My First Dungeon, Paint the Town Red. Thank you to all our players. Just going around the horn. Savali, played by Shenuk Tessera.
Hey, I did it. That was me.
Minnie, played by Super Dylan.
Hello.
Fitzroy, played by Edward Spence.
Resident Sad Boy playing your resident sad boy.
And Kane, played by Draconix.
We got pretty biblical near the end.
We got pretty biblical. We got pretty biblical.
Can't imagine why.
Oh, man.
Special thanks to our producers on this one, Abigail Hepworth and Elliot Davis. And as always, I am Brian Flaherty. And I'll be seeing you in the next party. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm a vampire. Ah.
And remember, everybody, as is true for all our seasons, but especially true for this one, if you're having fun, you're already doing it right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This season of My First Dungeon is sponsored by Soul Muppet Publishing. My First Dungeon presents Paint the Town Red, features the voice talents of Brian Flaherty, Super Dylan, Shenuk Tessera, Draconix, and Edward Spence. This episode was produced by Elliot Davis and Abby Hepworth. Editing and sound design by Brian Flaherty. The theme song, Paint the Town Red, was written and performed by J Strautman. This episode featured music by Behold and additional music from artlist.io. My First Dungeon is a many-sided media production. To hear the cast talk back for this episode, plus additional bonus actual plays, visit us on our Patreon. And remember, if you're having fun, you're already doing it right.
If you're looking for more great gaming content from everyone here at Many-Sided Media, you should consider subscribing to the 20-Sided newsletter. It's a free, bi-monthly newsletter for people who love games, make games, and just love making games. To subscribe, just go to 20sidednewsletter.substack.com or follow the link in the show notes.